Good evening and thank you for joining us for KREM News 10 at 10, where we give you more news in less time. Let's get started. First up tonight, the forecast. Today might have been the last time we'll see really hot weather for quite a while as rain and cooler temperatures are headed our way. Let's get straight to meteorologist Michelle Boss for more on what we need to know. Michelle?
Yeah, we're not going to have to deal with that hot weather anymore this week or probably in the near future either. We were in the mid-90s and low 100s across the inland northwest, but cooler air is on the way. Satellite and radar picture right now still showing pretty quiet conditions. Our next storm system will really start impacting us tomorrow afternoon. So in the meantime, we're still going to see pretty mild conditions overnight and clear skies, but seeing kind of a hint of the next storm. If you look way out into the Vancouver area in British Columbia, see a few lightning strikes there. We could see some thunderstorm activity from tomorrow afternoon right on into tomorrow evening. Flood watches are posted for Tuesday and Wednesday for north central, northeastern Washington and the Idaho Panhandle. Rainfall in excess of an inch is possible over that 2-day period. Spokane is not in that watch, but I think we'll still see a fair amount of rain as well. It's still 80 degrees outside at the Spokane Airport, in the 60s in Deer Park and Sandpoint, and 70s and 80s across the rest of the region. Again, pretty mild tonight. Lows will be down into the low and mid 60s. And we're still looking at a warm day tomorrow with highs in the mid 80s, afternoon storms, but then the temperatures plunge Wednesday. Showers, breezy and cooler. Much more fall-like on Wednesday with highs in the upper 60s. All
right, sounds good, Michelle. We'll check back in with you later in the broadcast. Well, we continue to track 2 deadly wildfires burning in Spokane County. Both fires started more than a week ago and have burned more than 20,000 acres combined and destroyed hundreds of homes. Today, we learned the Oregon Road fire is now 44% contained, but still burning about nearly 11,000 acres in size. 400 buildings have been destroyed, including 126 homes. Meantime, the Gray Fire burning near Medical Lake is now 85% contained. That fire has burned just over 10,000 acres and destroyed more than 250 structures, many of them homes. And when disasters like Spokane County's wildfires strike, they are often followed by scammers. Well, tonight the Red Cross says people are coming into Medical Lake claiming to be with the Red Cross and asking to go inside people's homes. They'll tell you they need to see your belongings to know if you qualify for damages. But the Red Cross says that is not at all what their legitimate staff will do.
We'll never come into your home. We don't need to see the inside of your home. Most of the time we don't even come on the property. As long as we can see the home from the street, that's where we will stay.
Actual Red Cross assessors will be in clearly marked Red Cross cars and gear, and most always have ID tags on them. Well, if you lost your driver's license in one of the wildfires, the Department of Licensing will be at the Disaster Assistance Center at Spokane Falls Community College reissuing IDs. So here's what you need to know. Head to the center tomorrow between 10 a.m. and 6 p.m. The DOL will be inside building number 9. A team will print you an ID replacement receipt on the spot. The actual ID will be mailed to you at a later date. And happening tomorrow, anyone impacted by the fires is invited to attend a community meeting focused on debris management and cleanup. The meeting will be at Riverside High School at 6 p.m. and will feature information on how to safely clean up the debris. Meantime, across the state line, the Ridge Creek fire has been burning in Kootenai County for nearly a month now. Well, tonight we are learning that a firefighter was hurt while working that fire. According to officials with the Idaho Panhandle National Forest, a falling tree limb is responsible for the injuries. Level 2 Get Set evacuations remain in place for those living in the Bunko area. That fire has burned more than 4,300 acres as of tonight and is now 32% contained. And for more wildfire coverage or for your fire outlook, you can watch that right now on our streaming service on KREM 2+. It is free to download on Apple, Roku, or on your Amazon Fire Stick. Well, new tonight, 2 people are in custody for a report of a stabbing that happened at the Red Top Motel this weekend. According to Spokane County Sheriff's deputies, 29-year-old Justin Billings came stumbling out of the bushes covered in blood when they arrived. They learned that he and 26-year-old Savannah Timby were in an argument that escalated, and that's when Billings was hurt by broken glass, they say. Timby was arrested for second-degree assault, identity theft, and making false statements. Billings was treated at a hospital, then arrested for a previous warrant. Also new tonight, Spokane City Council made several decisions that could impact your wallet. They also appointed a new member to represent District Number 2. KREM 2's Thea Skokin joining us live in the newsroom tonight with a breakdown of what went down at tonight's meeting. Thea?
Mark, there were several things on the agenda for City Council tonight, from things that could impact what you pay in taxes next year to a brand new member set to take now President Lori Kinnear's seat for District 2. First, council voted to extend its contract with the Seattle-based law firm to help the city with 2 lawsuits relating to officer-involved shootings. An additional $50,000 was contracted for the first suit and $100,000 for the second. Council also discussed an ordinance to increase garbage collection fees next year. The ordinance calls for a 10% increase, meaning if you currently pay about $35 for your garbage cart, you could expect to pay about $39. Council also approved Ryan Ulrich as the newest member. He'll be filling the first position for District 2. Several members addressed the appointment tonight, including Jonathan Bingle, who voted against Ulrich.
I think that there's some good experience that Ryan can bring to us and bring to the community, so I'm happy to support this.
Not in any condemnation of Ryan. I just think we had a couple better options when we were looking at a 3-month window of bringing in somebody with more experience when it came to the city budgets.
Ulrich is the executive director at a local nonprofit called Priority Spokane. His bio says he's received congressional recognition for his work on poverty and homelessness issues. It's important to note Ryan Ulrich will only hold the position for about 3 months. Whomever is elected in November will then take over. In the studio, Thea Skokin, KREM 2 News.
All right, Thea, thank you very much. And now to our night beat with a quick look at the day's top stories. Healthcare company Lincare Holdings has agreed to pay $29 million back to Medicare and Medicare Advantage plans. In the largest healthcare fraud settlement in the history of Eastern Washington, Lincare is taking back millions after overbilling for oxygen equipment. According to the U.S. Attorney's Office, it happened between 2012 and 2023. KREM 2 sat down exclusively with the U.S. Attorney for Eastern Washington on this historic settlement.
I mean, through our work on this case, we literally want people to breathe easier and know that they can have the medical equipment that they need and not be overcharged for this care.
As a result of the ruling, Lincare has entered into a 5-year integrity agreement with the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services. Meantime, the attorneys for the man accused of murdering the 4 University of Idaho students last year filed a motion to remove cameras from the courtroom. That motion was filed last Thursday. In court documents, Brian Kohberger's attorneys state that camera operators in the courtroom failed to follow the judge's directive to not focus exclusively on the suspect. Kohberger's next court appearance is set for this Friday, and that's when a trial date is expected to be set. Northbound lanes on the Maple Street Bridge are closed right now, and they will close every night at 8 p.m. for the next 10 weeks. They'll stay closed until 6 o'clock in the morning, so be sure to keep an eye out for the detours. Southbound traffic will also drop down to 1 lane during the day, so be prepared to add extra time for your commute or try to avoid it during peak traffic times. And that was your Night Beat. To learn more about any of these stories, just text us the word NIGHT to 509-448-2000, and we'll send them directly to your phone. Well, we are tracking a possible strike that could impact service on the Victoria Clipper Fast Ferry if a deal is not reached. That strike is set for this upcoming Labor Day weekend at the terminal on the Victoria, Canada side. The union representing workers says they are seeking wage increases, adjustments to the scheduling system, and better job security, writing in part, quote, "Good jobs and fair wages are pivotal to building a thriving tourism industry. The Victoria Clipper is no exception," unquote. The company that owns the Clipper responded saying it feels the union's concerns were addressed and that its latest offer was, quote, "very competitive." The man accused of kidnapping a Seattle woman and holding her in a makeshift cell at his house in Oregon has pleaded not guilty. 29-year-old Negasi Zuberi is charged with kidnapping, among other charges. The woman was able to claw her way out of that makeshift cell, then find help. Zuberi is also now charged with attempted escape after trying to break out of jail, and since then, he is being held in federal custody. The trial for his federal charges is expected to start in October. Well, March 4th, 2024, the day before Super Tuesday. Now the trial date for Washington, D.C.-based federal election interference case against former President Donald Trump. The defense had asked to push that trial to April of 2026 after the presidential election, but a U.S. district judge flatly rejected that.
The judge, I think, largely was just not buying what the defense was selling here. I think what the judge acknowledged here is that there is a public interest in a speedy resolution.
The judge today said the public has an interest in the fair and timely administration of justice. Prosecutors argued that was especially true in this case before they head to the polls again, since the former president is accused of trying to subvert the will of voters in the last presidential election.